100% corn oil with no cholesterol and fewer calories than the leading corn oil margarine.
Dinner was a success.
Especially the Country Crock corn oil spread.
Your boss is really funny.
Yeah, you two have quite a sense of humor.
Well, we need one.
KSTP-TV welcomes KRWF Redwood Falls. Live from Minnesota's news channel, KSTP Channel 5, Stan Turner, Ruth Spencer, Dave Dahl, and Joe Schmidt bring you the Eyewitness News Update.
Good evening, everyone. You've heard the news of rising crime rates, but tonight you're going to hear a different story.
Robberies, burglaries, and vandalism have been common problems in one North Side Minneapolis neighborhood for years. But now the residents are fighting back, and they are winning the war against crime. Pat Milan shows us a neighborhood patrol group that was born out of frustration.
I was accosted by 5 youths when I was with my youngest daughter, 4, and the young fellow next door at 7 years old.
Like hundreds of other people, Chuck Dahl has become frustrated with the number of robberies, burglaries, and vandalisms in his neighborhood.
We're tired of being intimidated, and we're tired of them claiming it as their neighborhood. Well, it's our neighborhood, and we have to intimidate them. We don't want them here. They don't belong here. They don't live in the area. So it's an intimidation problem. We're intimidating.
Chuck used to walk the streets at night with 2 neighbors, but now that group has grown to 40 people in a square mile of North Minneapolis who have volunteered to walk the streets on a security watch every night of every week. The Tangletown Crime Watch Patrol asks each volunteer to patrol 6 to 8 hours a month.
The whole idea of the Crime Watch and Patrol is to be just a highly visible mobile unit that walks out with flashlights. We would rather have the people that are going to pull a crime or pull something in the area see us before we see them.
Neighbors are asked to leave their front and backyard lights on all night long. If the Crime Watch Patrol sees something unusual, they radio back to Chuck Dahl's wife, Linda, and she calls the police. As a formally organized group, the Tangletown Patrol is only 1 week old, and yet the first week was a big success.
There was 0 incidences of any type of crime in the area as far as burglary, rapes, vandalism, windows broken. There's absolutely no called-in incidences of garage break-ins or anything since we've been on a patrol.
Before these patrols started, most of these people didn't even know each other. Now that the neighbors have grown closer, they feel an obligation to watch out for one another. For the Eyewitness News Update in North Minneapolis, I'm Pat Milan.
In Washington County, investigators there are baffling over the discovery of a woman's skeleton. Her remains and clothes were found in a wooded area near I-694 and Highway 36 this morning. Authorities say she was a black woman between the ages of 25 and 35. Her body had been there for at least several months, and the county medical examiner is trying to establish the cause of her death. Earlier tonight, the body of a St. Paul man was found in the Mississippi River near Warner Road in St. Paul. Authorities say it appears the man drowned perhaps a month ago. They are waiting for dental records to positively identify the body.
And tonight, investigators do suspect foul play in the death of a young woman. Neighbors stumbled upon the unidentified woman's body in an alley behind a downtown church in Duluth this morning. Authorities are waiting for autopsy results to determine the exact cause of death. A Stearns County farm family lost close to half of its dairy herd this afternoon when fire engulfed a cattle barn. Close to 120 dairy cows were killed in that fire. Dave Andrews reports tonight the losses are going to exceed $100,000.
There was nothing the family or firefighters could do to save the cattle lost inside this barn when fire broke out on the Betty Atkinson farm in Freeport just after noon today. The family was eating lunch when they noticed smoke pouring from the barn. Only 4 cows made it out of the building. 2 of them had to be destroyed later. Jeff Atkinson said he's not sure how the fire began.
We were using machinery in the building earlier today. Now, if there was a spark or whatever, I couldn't say.
Atkinson said the loss from the fire could approach $200,000. He believes insurance will cover most of it. The farm has been in the Atkinson family for over 30 years. Now, with the fire, they are not sure if they will try to rebuild their herd.
The family is switching over. There was 4 brothers here, and not all of us are going to stay farming. So I don't know what we're going to do.
A loss like this could force many Minnesota farm families out of business. The Atkinson family says they feel fortunate that their financial situation will allow them to weather this setback to their operation. In Freeport, I'm Dave Andrews for the Eyewitness News Update.
Now, firefighters were able to contain that fire to just the one barn, and that's fortunate because the dry conditions and strong winds had posed the threat of spreading that fire to other buildings on the farm. Stan?
And the number of grass and brush fires dropped dramatically today with light rain and cooler temperatures across Minnesota. Still, the last 2 months have brought the worst fire season in a decade, with many of those fires set by arsonists. And usually, the culprits get away. But Mike Binkley reports one DNR office has managed to nab 5 suspects in the past 12 days, and 2 pleaded guilty this morning.
Year after year in Chisholm, Minnesota, there's been one field that's consistently been set on fire by arsonists. It went up in flames again this month, but the difference was forestry agents had staked it out. They were waiting and watching as 2 men drove up in their pickup and set it on fire right in front of them.
We had it covered so that the roads going out were covered, and our people came, and when they turned around and come back, there were red lights in front of them.
They were the 2 who pleaded guilty to misdemeanor burning charges in St. Louis County. Meanwhile, last Friday, 3 teenagers riding 3-wheelers here in Itasca County had the same idea. They had a box of wooden matches, and what they saw in front of them was a dry field just ripe for burning. What they didn't see was an airplane that the DNR had sent up to spot smoke. Well, it spotted their smoke and spotted them as well.
Just having some fun, throwing some matches out and watching it burn, and they lit it in 3 places here, and it all burned into one.
Some idea of fun, huh?
Well, for them maybe.
After a chase, authorities on the ground found the 3 hiding in a culvert. They have since confessed, said it was just something to do. What they did was burn 260 acres of grass and timber and push firefighters to the limit at the very same time they were fighting another arson fire just 2 miles down the road. This DNR office in Hibbing estimates as many as 80% of the fires they face this time of year are intentionally set. It's rare they'll get this many arrests in one district. In Hibbing, Mike Binkley for the Eyewitness News Update.
And of the 5 suspects picked up by the DNR over the past 12